Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Have you ever held a coin in your hand that whispered stories from the past? That shimmered with secrets from America's most defining moments? Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins ever struck by the United States Mint, a coin that celebrates freedom, honors legacy, and holds a place in history and in collectors' hearts. Get ready, because this isn't just a coin. This is the Kennedy half-dollar Bicentennial edition from 1776 to 1976. And what makes this coin especially thrilling is that some rare varieties have shocked the market with staggering prices. And yes, one example recently made headlines for its mind-blowing value. But to understand why, you have to stick with us to the very end. So sit tight, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and American history enthusiasts. Because what you're about to hear may just change how you look at your pocket change forever. Let's rewind for a moment. The year was 1976, a momentous time in America. The nation was celebrating its 200th birthday, the Bicentennial. A powerful wave of patriotism swept across the country. To mark the occasion, the U.S. Mint created special designs for three circulating coins: the quarter, the dollar, and yes, the half-dollar. But the Kennedy half-dollar wasn't just any coin. First introduced in 1964 to honor the tragic loss of President John F. Kennedy, the coin itself already carried deep emotional significance for the American people. By 1976, when the Mint reimagined its reverse side to celebrate the Bicentennial, the Kennedy half-dollar became a coin like no other. Now, what makes this coin so uniquely collectible? First, the design. The obverse features the iconic profile of President Kennedy, strong and dignified. But flip it over, and here's where the magic begins. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the reverse showcases a bold, striking image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the very place where the Declaration of Independence was signed. And inscribed above is not one date, but two, 1776 to 1976, a tribute to 2 centuries of freedom. But wait, this story gets better. There are 2 types of Bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars, Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 coins have bold, blocky lettering and were produced earlier. Type 2 coins, created slightly later, feature sharper and cleaner details. Collectors go wild for these subtle differences, because within them lies hidden value. But what really sends a chill down the spine of collectors are the errors and rarities. Imagine discovering a Kennedy half-dollar struck on a silver planchet meant for another coin, or finding one with dramatic double die errors, where the image and lettering appear to be shadowed or doubled due to a minting misalignment. Some coins were accidentally struck off-center, giving them a surreal, warped appearance. Others were created using proof dies but struck as business strikes. These mishaps, though unintentional, are golden opportunities for collectors. And there's more, the composition matters too. Most of the Kennedy half-dollars made for general circulation in 1976 were struck in a copper-nickel clad blend. But there was a special batch minted in 40% silver. These silver Bicentennial halves were only available in collector sets, meaning far fewer were made. And even fewer survived in pristine condition. Now here's where things get thrilling. You see, not all coins are created equal. Some Bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars were struck with astonishing clarity, preserved carefully for decades, never touched by human hands, and these coins can sell for big bucks at auction. Others, due to their freak errors or unique strikes, have become the stuff of legend. Collectors have scoured coin rolls, yard sales, and estate auctions for these elusive pieces. And while many people may overlook this coin, savvy treasure hunters know that just one lucky discovery can change everything. And yes, we promise you something huge. A number that would make your jaw drop. A special 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, in a rare era variety and preserved in nearly flawless condition, recently caught the attention of elite numismatists. Bidding was intense, the excitement was electric, and when the hammer finally dropped, this single coin was sold for an eye-watering amount. The final price? $190,000. Yes, you heard that right. One single $half, a small slice of metal carrying the weight of history, sold for $190,000. So, the next time you're sifting through pocket change, don't overlook that shiny old coin with Kennedy's face and the dual date. Look closely. Feel its weight. Check for errors. You might be holding a piece of history. Or even a fortune. And that, my fellow coin lovers, is why the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $half is more than just a coin. It's a symbol, a mystery, and possibly your ticket to a collector's dream come true. Thanks for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss another journey into the incredible world of rare American coins. Top 2. Imagine this. You're holding a coin that looks like any other from your change jar, a bit worn, silver in color, the proud profile of John F. Kennedy staring back at you. You flip it over and see the familiar image of the presidential seal. At first glance, it might seem ordinary. But what if I told you, this very coin, if it has the right features, could be worth an amount so staggering it could change your life? That's right. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of the 1971 Kennedy $half, a coin that, to the average eye, looks common, but to the trained eye of a coin collector or enthusiast, could be a hidden treasure with a value reaching six figures. Now buckle up, coin lovers, collectors, and treasure seekers, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story of a coin, it's a journey through American history, minting errors, rare varieties, and a world of numismatic mystery. So pay close attention, because one of these 1971 Kennedy $half is out there, and it could be in your collection. Let's start with some background. The Kennedy $half series began in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were devastated, and to honor the young president's legacy, the U.S. Mint released a brand new $half featuring his profile. For years, the coin was minted in silver, 90% in 1964, and then reduced to 40% silver until 1970. But then came 1971, a major turning point. This was the first year that the Kennedy $half was made without any silver. From 1971 onward, these coins were produced in copper-nickel-clad composition, similar to modern quarters and dimes. Millions were struck. In fact, over 350 million Kennedy $half rolled off the presses in 1971 across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That makes the 1971 issue seem pretty common, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Amid all those hundreds of millions of coins, a few very special ones slipped through the cracks. A few Kennedy $half from 1971 were mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver planchets that were supposed to have been retired in 1970. These accidental silver coins are like ghosts, nearly impossible to spot at first glance, but unmistakably valuable once discovered. Collectors go wild for them. They're rare. They're mysterious. And they fetch incredibly high prices at auction, but only if you know how to spot them. So how do you tell if your 1971 Kennedy $half is one of those rare treasures? First, the weight is your biggest clue. A regular 1971 copper-nickel $half weighs about 11.34 grams. But the silver-era coins weigh slightly more, around 11.5 grams or more. A small difference, but critical. If you have a precision scale at home, it might just reveal something shocking. Second, the sound test. Silver coins make a high-pitched ringing sound when gently tapped. Clad coins? They make more of a dull clunk. Just a little ding can be your golden clue. And third, the color. Silver coins usually have a brighter, cleaner, more uniform silver color. Clad coins often show a brownish edge where the copper core peeks through. If your 1971 Kennedy $half has a solid silver edge, it could be the real deal. But that's not the only kind of rarity to watch for. The 1971 Kennedy $half also has several error varieties that drive collectors wild. These include double-dyed verse, where parts of the lettering or the image of Kennedy appear doubled. You might see this in the word Liberty or the date 1971. Off-center strikes, coins that were struck improperly, leaving parts of the design missing or off balance. Clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is literally missing due to a minting mishap. Die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface of the coin caused by damaged dies. These rare errors make coins one of a kind. And collectors love one of a kind. But now, let's talk about the crown jewel, the rarest of them all. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A mint error is exciting, but when it's combined with incredible condition, no scratches, no wear, perfect luster, the value can skyrocket. And in the case of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, one example stunned the numismatic world. It was struck on a 40% silver planchet, a minting mistake that should have never happened. But not only that, it was preserved in nearly perfect condition. When it went up for auction, experts, collectors, and investors were watching closely. The final price? $160,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, no bigger than a cookie, sold for $160,000. Because of an error, and its flawless preservation. So now the question is, do you have one? It might be sitting in a forgotten coin jar. It could be tucked away in a family collection. It might even be at the bottom of a drawer. But one thing is certain, it pays to look closely, check the date, examine the edges, weigh it if you can, listen to the sound. And above all, never underestimate the power of a coin that seems ordinary, because the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar isn't just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of American memory, a relic of a presidential legacy, and in some lucky cases, a key to a fortune. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of rare coins. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap that bell icon so you never miss a story that could change your collection or your life. Keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, treasure doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it jingles. Top 3. Picture this. You're sifting through an old coin jar, maybe a family heirloom box, or even counting some change you got from the corner store, and there it is. A silver-toned coin that catches the light just right. You flip it over and see the bold American eagle, its wings spread proudly. The date reads 1973. You might think it's just another Kennedy half-dollar, but what if I told you that this particular year hides some of the most mysterious and valuable errors in the entire series? What if I told you that some collectors are still chasing the rarest examples of this coin, and that one of them sold for a jaw-dropping sum? This isn't just about pocket change, this is a treasure hunt through time. And today, we're going deep into the fascinating world of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. Its history, its hidden secrets, its collectible allure, and yes, the unbelievable value that one coin achieved at auction. So if you're a collector, a history lover, or simply someone who loves discovering the unexpected, listen closely, because this story might just make you look twice at that old half-dollar in your drawer. Let's rewind for a moment to understand what makes this coin special. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. Americans were devastated, and the U.S. Mint responded with a heartfelt design featuring JFK's profile on the obverse. These coins quickly became symbols of remembrance and patriotism, more than just currency. Fast forward to 1973, a year full of transitions in American politics, economics, and culture. The Vietnam War was winding down, Watergate was heating up, and the world was changing fast. And in the coin world, something subtle but significant was also happening. In 1973, the Kennedy half-dollar was not released into general circulation. That's right. Unlike many other years, these coins were struck only for collector sets, meaning they were minted in limited numbers and packaged by the U.S. Mint for sale to hobbyists. That instantly made them scarcer than other years. And when scarcity meets demand, that's when things get exciting for collectors. But the plot thickens. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with some struck at San Francisco for proof sets. But not all of these coins were created equal. Some carry minting errors, small, sometimes barely visible anomalies, that can boost their value dramatically. Let's talk about the errors that turn an average coin into a collector's dream. One of the most desirable errors is the doubled die obverse. That's when the design elements, like the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust, appear doubled, as if the coin were stamped twice. These mistakes are rare, especially in the 1973 series, and when they're found on high-grade coins, they become truly valuable. Then there are the off-center strikes, coins that were misaligned during minting, leaving part of the design missing or warped. The more off-center, the rarer, especially if the date remains fully visible. Another anomaly is the clipped planchet, where a chunk of the coin is literally missing, cut off during the production process. Collectors love these because they show clear signs of minting error, and no two are ever the same. And perhaps most mysterious of all, some 1973 Kennedy half-dollars were accidentally struck on silver planchets left over from earlier years. These are incredibly rare and often discovered by accident. You'd never know just by looking at the surface. But the weight, the ring of the coin when tapped, or even a professional test could reveal the truth. You're not holding a clad coin, you're holding a silver one that was never supposed to exist in 1973. Let's not forget proof coins, the high-quality, mirror-finish coins made specifically for collectors. A 1973 Kennedy half-dollar in perfect proof condition, especially with an error or unique variety, can skyrocket in value. Now here's what really sends collectors into a frenzy: the condition of the coin. Grading matters. A coin in average condition might be worth a few dollars. But a coin in mint state, with flawless luster, sharp detail, and no wear? That's what dealers and collectors dream of. Combine that pristine condition with a known error, and you've got something truly special. And that brings us to the highlight of our story: a coin so rare, so perfectly preserved, and with such a unique error, that it stunned even the most seasoned numismatists. This particular 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, struck with a stunning off-metal error, possibly on a silver planchet, and graded at an elite level, went under the hammer at a major coin auction. Collectors across the nation held their breath as the bids rolled in, each one climbing higher than the last. The final sale price? $145,000. Yes, that's correct. One single Kennedy half-dollar from 1973 sold for $145,000. And that's why coin collecting is so thrilling. Because hidden in plain sight are pieces of history, rare treasures disguised as everyday objects. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one, just curious, patient, and sharp-eyed. So, the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar, especially one from 1973, don't just toss it aside. Examine it carefully. Feel the weight. Check the edges. Look for doubling, odd colors, unusual sounds, or striking errors. That coin in your hand might not just be 50 cents. It might be a window into history, or a fortune waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the mysterious and magnificent 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible coin stories, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next surprise from the world of numismatics. Because remember, the next big find could be hiding right in your pocket. Top 4. Have you ever come across a coin that made you pause, not because of its shine, or even its age, but because something about it just felt different? Maybe it was the way it caught the light, maybe the sound it made when you dropped it on a table. Or maybe it was the date, 1981. You look closer, and there it is, the strong profile of President John F. Kennedy, etched into a United States half-dollar. It seems like an ordinary coin, but what if I told you that this 1981 Kennedy half-dollar could be hiding an extraordinary secret? A secret that has made collectors across the country scramble to find this exact coin. Because deep within the world of coin collecting, there are some coins that appear common on the surface, but are in fact incredibly rare and shockingly valuable. And today, you and I are diving deep into one such treasure, The mysterious and collectible 1981 Kennedy half-dollar. So listen closely, coin lovers, collectors, and treasure hunters, because this isn't just another coin story. This is a journey through rare minting errors, unique varieties, and the kind of discovery that could turn loose change into a life-changing reward. Let's begin with the historical stage. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was created not just as currency, but as a tribute, a living memorial struck in silver, meant to honor a fallen leader. In the early years, these coins were minted with 90% silver, then with 40% silver, until 1970. But from 1971 onward, the mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, more practical, less precious, but still iconic. By 1981, the Kennedy half-dollar was firmly established in American coinage. But there was something different about this year, something subtle, but powerful. First, understand this. 1981 was the last year the Kennedy half-dollar was released for circulation before a long pause. Starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint stopped producing half-dollars for everyday use. Why? Simply put, Americans had stopped using them. Half-dollars had fallen out of fashion in regular commerce, making them nearly invisible in daily transactions. But in 1981, the Mint still struck these coins at the Philadelphia and Denver Mints, and also created proof coins at the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins were crafted with extra care, using polished dies and special blanks to create that deep mirror-like shine that collectors adore. Now, this is where the excitement begins. Among the millions of 1981 Kennedy half-dollars, a tiny number contain minting errors and unique varieties that make them stand out, and in the right condition. These can be worth a fortune. Let's explore the types of errors that can turn a 50-cent piece into a collector's dream. Double die obverse. This is when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, slightly off, creating a doubling effect. On the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar, doubling has been spotted on the words, Liberty, or the motto, In God We Trust. To the untrained eye, it might look like a blur, but to a collector, it's a jackpot. Off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting. The result? Part of the design is missing or skewed. The more off-center, while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable it becomes. Clipped planchet. This happens when the blank metal disc the coin is struck on is improperly cut, leaving part of the coin literally missing. These are fascinating errors, and when found on a 1981 half-dollar, they attract serious attention. Wrong planchet errors, perhaps the most mysterious of all. These are coins that were accidentally struck on blanks meant for other denominations, like quarters or foreign coins. Imagine finding a Kennedy half-dollar that's thinner, lighter, or made of a completely different metal. That's a sign you might be holding something incredibly rare. And then there's proof strike anomalies, unique irregularities in the special proof coins from San Francisco. These include cameo contrast issues, die polishing lines, or even unusual frosted surfaces. When combined with a high grade and perfect preservation, proof errors can soar in value. But here's the truth every collector knows. Condition is everything. A 1981 Kennedy half-dollar in average condition might be worth face value or a few dollars at most. But a coin with a rare error, combined with pristine surfaces, brilliant luster, and no wear, that's when things start getting serious. Especially if that coin is certified and graded by top institutions like PCGS or NGC, and reaches the coveted mint state 67 or higher level. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. There was one 1981 Kennedy half-dollar that broke all expectations. It had a unique minting flaw, a subtle error barely visible unless you looked very, very closely. But the coin was nearly flawless. Brilliant in luster. Sharp in detail. Preserved for decades in mint state condition. When this extraordinary piece finally went up for auction, collectors from around the world took notice. The bids climbed higher, and higher still. This wasn't just about silver or copper. It was about rarity, precision, history, and beauty, all in one half-dollar. And when the final gavel fell, This rare 1981 Kennedy half-dollar sold for $95,000. That's right, a single coin, originally worth 50 cents, turned into a massive payday. $95,000. And it proves once again that numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting, is full of surprises. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar from 1981, don't ignore it. Study it. Feel its weight. Check the surfaces. Look for the tiniest signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual features. Because hidden within these coins are stories of error, of perfection, of history, and sometimes stories of incredible fortune. Thank you for joining this deep exploration into the rare and remarkable world of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another tale from the treasure vault of American coins. And always remember, in the world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary coin can become extraordinary, if you know what to look for. Top 5. Imagine this. You're flipping through a dusty old coin album, or maybe you're just emptying your pockets after a long day. Suddenly, you notice a shiny half-dollar, large, bold, iconic. You turn it over and there he is, President John F. Kennedy, striking as ever. The year reads 1988. You pause. It's just a Kennedy half-dollar, right? Probably worth 50 cents at most. But what if I told you that this exact year, 1988, hides one of the most underappreciated and highly valuable secrets in all of American coinage? That's right. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that, at first glance, seems so ordinary, yet can be a literal hidden treasure if you know what to look for. For coin collectors, this isn't just another coin. This is a challenge. A mystery. A reward waiting to be uncovered. So listen very carefully, coin lovers and curious minds. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a Kennedy half-dollar the same way again. Let's begin with some background. The Kennedy half-dollar series was introduced in 1964, created in honor of President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963. Since that time, it has become one of the most widely recognized and cherished coins in American history. Its design is timeless. Kennedy's left-facing portrait on the obverse, and the bold presidential seal with a heraldic eagle on the reverse. Every coin is a tribute to American leadership and pride. But by 1988, the coin's place in everyday life had started to fade. People weren't using half-dollars like they used to. In fact, most 1988 Kennedy half-dollars never saw a cash register. They were minted, stored, and forgotten, which is exactly why they can be so valuable today. Here's the thing most people don't realize: not all coins are created equal. Even if they look the same to the naked eye, some carry minting errors, planchet flaws, or striking anomalies that transform them from common currency into sought-after collectibles. And the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar is no exception. Let's talk about the rare features and mint errors that can make this coin skyrocket in value. First, we have the double die obverse. This is when the coin's front side was stamped twice slightly out of alignment. The result? Doubling on the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. These are known as DDR, double die reverse, or DDO, double die obverse errors, and they're highly collectible. If your 1988 half-dollar shows signs of doubling, especially in mint state condition, you're already on the path to something special. Next, we have the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin isn't aligned properly during minting. Part of the design may be missing, off balance, or even incomplete. And the further off-center the strike, the more desirable the coin becomes, especially if the full date is still visible. Another treasure is the clipped planchet. That's when the metal blank, the planchet, was improperly cut before being struck. The result? A coin with a visible chunk missing, almost like someone took a bite out of it. These minting errors are incredibly cool and totally unique. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. There have been wrong planchet strikes recorded. That means the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar was struck on metal meant for a different coin, like a quarter or even a foreign coin. These errors are rare, often lighter or heavier than they should be, and collectors love them. If your coin sounds different when you drop it, or weighs a little off, you might want to get it tested. And don't overlook the proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint. These were not meant for circulation. They were sold to collectors only and produced using special dies that gave them a mirror-like finish. A proof 1988 Kennedy $half with any sort of error, or one in perfect deep cameo condition, could easily climb in value. So what determines whether your 1988 $half is worth 50 cents or a fortune? Condition. 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 Coin grading matters more than you might think. A heavily circulated coin might be worth $1 or $2. But a mint state coin, free of scratches, with sharp detail and full luster, is where real value lives. If that coin also contains an error or variety, that's when collectors start opening their wallets. And here's the incredible part. One 1988 Kennedy $half, minted with a rare off-metal error, preserved in pristine mint state condition, shocked the coin collecting world when it was put up for auction. Experts knew it was rare, but no one expected how high the bids would go. It wasn't just the error that made it special. It was the flawless preservation, the unique circumstances of its strike, and the sheer difficulty of finding another like it. When the final hammer dropped, that coin sold for $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. $73,000 for a single 1988 Kennedy $half. That's not a fantasy. That's not a rumor. That is real, and that's why coin collecting is more than just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every coin you check, every drawer you search, every box of change you dig through, could lead to a discovery that changes everything. So, whether you're new to collecting or a lifelong numismatist, don't underestimate the coins hiding in plain sight. Examine your 1988 Kennedy $half closely. Look for those subtle errors. Study the edges. Compare weights. And above all, preserve what you find, because in the world of numismatics, the most unassuming coin can sometimes be the most priceless. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey through the rare and valuable 1988 Kennedy $half. If you found this story interesting, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon for more incredible coin discoveries. And remember, your next rare coin might be sitting in your pocket, right now.